Yeah, supernatural stuff. I love supernatural stuff. Yeah, I like my brain stopped because you said supernatural, and then I was thinking,
You
Dane
immediately
Winchester.
went.
Yeah.
I was like, you immediately went to "Carry On My Wayward
Yep.
Son."
I went
Yeah,
straight to
that's where
Kansas.
you. Yeah, you
100%.
went. I was gonna say. So you did. Okay. I
Yeah.
was like, looking at. Okay, so just straight up, just being able to see this face to face conversation is a whole new dynamic. So
Oh,
it's just like,
it's so distracting. It is so many levels of distracting. Like the only saving grace on your side is like the color changing isn't happening so quickly on like the LEDs behind you that I have no choice but to look at them. It's like
yes.
just slow enough where I'm not like, ooh, pretty lights. Like, yeah, no, it's just slow enough where I can keep my chill ish. But yeah,
Right.
it's we're doing pretty good here. We're
Yeah, no, for sure. See, I could make them faster, but then it'd be more of a strobe, and even for me, like vaporwave colors, like the blue to the purple to the pink,
mm-hmm.
strobing in any sort of kind of way is still going to be very
Very distracting.
annoying and
Yeah.
very
On top of
distracting.
the fact that there's like I mean, no one's gonna be watching this, but at one point in time, like strobing red and blue lights did in fact cause a bunch of children to go to the hospital. Um.
Porygon episode Pokemon.
Yes.
I
Luckily, no
never
one
got to
died.
watch that episode. I never got to watch that episode.
No
I
one
missed it when it aired on. I didn't they air it
in the
the
states.
states?
No.
I know they aired it in Japan and that happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
It never that one scene from the episode was edited so that they changed the rate at which the flashing happened. So when it originally happened, in the episode, so far as like anyone who hasn't deep dived,
dived, dove. I think
yeah,
dove.
deep dove, yeah, deep doved. Uh, anyone who hath not doven upon the deepeth of this episode or this lore. What happens is, I believe it's either Jesse or James, they fire a rocket launcher at Porygon. Now, Porygon is a technology, like, it's like the computer program Pokemon. Like,
Yep.
before the ghost type, um, what's it called? It has all these different shapes and stuff. It's not a ghost type. It's like an
Ditto.
electric type. Huh?
You're not talking about Ditto, are you? Oh, are you
No.
talking about Rotom?
Yeah, Rotom. There you go. Before Rotom, there was Porygon. Um,
Oh yeah, because it was able to access technology.
yeah. So basically, what happens is during a very, very short scene in that episode, the explosion is represented as a flashing blue and red light. Now, the problem is they happen to have it going at about 60 hertz. So for a lot of people at that rate, anyone with a specific type of photosensitive epilepsy would 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 have an episode. They would start more than like many of them had seizures. Most of them children because it was mostly children, and it only happened in dark rooms where the TV was the only source of light. And that's why all the early 2000s anime that came out shortly after that had those little info things before like in the intermissions. And it's like, please watch in a brightly lit room, at least this far away from the TV. Like, I don't know if you ever watched this, but early anime, like the one that reminds me of it is Steel Angel Kurumi. Um,
Okay.
if you've never seen Steel Angel Kurumi, it's hilarious and it's a great watch, and it's great. We'll talk about it some other time.
Well, I was gonna say we'll probably talk about it some other time.
Yeah,
We
is
haven't deep dove
Divin
deepeth doven
Deepith Divin.
divin
Yeah,
dove into anime just quite yet.
yeah,
So
not just yet, but we will. Gosh, there's so much anime I've watched,
there's a lot of anime. There's a lot to talk about. There's just so much,
and
just in general.
I'm so glad I get to see you while we do it.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Oh, I also realized we could actually watch stuff and be face to face now. That's very nice.
Oh yeah, because we could essentially, yeah. No, there's no reason not to.
Right, unless your computer can't handle it. That's the only way.
Yeah, no, I think my computer should be able to handle that. My network might not be able to handle that though.
That's probably it.
Yeah, it would be more my network than my computer. I think my computer can render a movie. I would hope.
Unless you download it. I was like, unless you download it, that could probably be the only.
Actually, that
alternate
wouldn't
way
be a
for
bad
them to do that.
idea to download it
Right?
beforehand and then watch it without having, because then I could have the bandwidth free so that we could continue to. Yeah, no,
See?
great ideas. Akamai.
Ah.
Yeah.
Speaking of headspace and thinking, I'm currently wearing. Oh, I was telling you this before we started recording.
Mhm.
Jason Momoa has a clothing line, for a company called. I know it's a plug, but I just really like the fact that there's a consideration that there's a beanie meant for big-headed people.
I mean,
'cause-
that you gotta be inclusive in your men's apparel wear. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Well, also is that in his clothing line, like one of his alternate colors on top of black is dirty pink. And for those who don't know me, like pink is the color I love the most.
Mhm.
Like, although my favorite pink is neon highlighter pink,
hey,
all
it's-
pink is
it's
welcome.
it's a great color, and it's very close and very resembling of a particular podcast's logo.
Oh yeah. They're the logo,
Yeah,
like a very
those-
particular hot pink.
Yeah, very particular, on the black background. I know I've seen it before.
Yeah,
Um.
yeah. It's
So
I'm
so
looking
do you
across
have
my
to
room.
shop at it at Tall and Fishy or Big and Seaweed?
Tall and fishy, big and seaweed. No, just because this is Aquaman we're talking about. No. The interesting thing is that his clothing line is actually inclusive for like tall people in general.
Mm-hmm.
But it's actually how do I explain it? It's like minimalistic, but like, it's not bougie, but there's a way to say it.
I would say comfy
like-
chic.
I'll say it's chic,
Yeah.
chic enough, but it's actually the company supports rock climbing, so like on top of his clothing line, they have like chalk bags that you put for when you go bouldering, or like backpacks that are actually very durable. And actually, rock climbing like hang training like things where like it's like a giant rack that you just hang up with support. I would hope that you put on support beams,
Mm-hmm.
where it trains your fingers like in different spaces or different depths, so your fingers could hold on to something.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm of the opinion that bouldering people and people who do rock climbing are just masochists that couldn't find a better outlet to receive pain.
It's a special breed. They're a special breed of people. I will say
Yeah,
that.
like,
That's for
that's-
sure.
Nowhere in my brain do I think I want to spend hours trying to climb that mountain without ropes, or I want to spend the amount of time required to strengthen the attachments between my fingers and my tendons to the point where I can hold on to something with the grip strength of a bear. Like, nowhere does my brain say I want that.
Yeah, it like I said, they're a special breed of people.
Yeah.
Them and people who do CrossFit, most of the time they do both.
Yeah, but they're typically like ridiculously low body fat, incredible amounts of strength in their bodies, and they've been doing really, really good in American Ninja Warrior, like way better than the parkour people recently.
Yeah. Speaking of Ninja Warrior, I was just telling Caleb off recording, off mic, that my best friend here in LA, who hopefully we get to talk to off camera, or not on camera, but off recording. He currently is working on set on American Ninja Warrior. So nice. Kudos to that segue.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Annie because of that. And if you decide to listen to this podcast, What's up, my dude?
Yeah. I mean, if he spends any amount of time listening to the craziness that comes out of either of our mouths, he's a good person
That's
by
true.
my estimates.
For sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. That being said,
But yes,
any if you want to be a special guest, please RSVP.
yeah. Talk to our agents, which is just me
Just Jason.
or
Just,
Caleb. One of
just
us.
Jason. It's just
Okay, just
Jason.
me. I'm the one that I guess I'm the one that handles. I handle all the interactions and networking. Apparently,
I mean, obviously,
Um,
you're the best at handling talent.
that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Very true. But that's another endeavor for another day.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, going back to the clothing line, I just like it because it's very minimalistic, and I realize that on top of the numerous years of having like printed T-shirts and just whatever and whatnot, I kind of really like the minimalistic look where it's just like a simple pattern, subtleness. Like I wear a lot of like I've been starting to wear a little bit of hype clothing just because any has that influence because I do like the style,
Mm-hmm.
but I do make it my own because like the way I dress is kind of like a little more street style, but also at the same time too I wear a lot of denim. Um, so it's like a lot of joggers and whatnot. But I've always liked clothing that's very minimalist. So it's like subtle. So I have like a baseball jersey that's dedicated to Demon Slayer, but it doesn't say Demon Slayer on it. It's a pattern for one of the characters, and if you recognize it, you recognize it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the type of clothing I've always worn. Like I've even worn Star Wars clothing that doesn't even say Star Wars on it, or that
Mhm.
doesn't have like Darth Vader or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's Star Wars. You see a symbol or you see like a reference or a quote or something like that that pertains to a certain character, and it's just like, oh shit, that's dope. You know,
Yeah.
I like clothing that you have to figure out, but most of my clothing is of fandoms,
Mm-hmm.
but just not loudly, blatantly saying, hey, look at me, I'm wearing a My Hero Academia shirt with all the characters from My Hero Academia.
Yeah, no, it's a little bit different to wear like a graphic tee versus wearing wearing a very large like what looks like a doctor's coat with the Japanese symbol for 4 on the back.
Right.
Like you're like it's different. Or that was a Bleach reference if anyone wanted to know. Like it's really different if you're wearing orange joggers and blue wristbands.
True, and if you decide to be shirtless or not, right?
Right, because you know for a fact if you got a 6-pack, that person is Goku. Anyway.
oh. I think I remember. I can't remember what streaming app that I saw it, but I'm in the mood to watch a really bad, horrible movie with you. And I don't know how excited you're going to be. Do you know which one I'm going to talk about?
No, because it doesn't exist. That thing of which you are trying to talk about doesn't exist.
It's kind of like what Pokemon do, but it's also the same along the lines of some of the characters that are like Z Warriors, but they're really not.
Wait a second. Now I'm a little bit confused. I thought you were talking about like Dragon Ball Revolutions.
Was it Revolutions? I thought it was. Oh no, it is Revolution. No, I thought it was Evolution.
No, Revolutions.
I'm gonna fucking fact check.
Yeah, no, the live action one where Chow Yun Fat is like talking about airbending techniques.
I don't think it's Is it Revolution? No, it's. I was right. It's Evolution.
Is it Evolution?
It is Evolution.
Well, it's so revolting I had no
2000
choice but to add an R.
I saw it. I saw it pop up on one of these streaming apps, and I'm like, "This is such a horrible movie that I would love to watch this with Caleb so we could bash it the entire way."
No, like it's as if the Ember Island players were to try to rewrite Dragon Ball. Like it's that bad. It's like if
I know it's bad.
yeah,
I know
no,
it's really
like,
bad.
And this was before M. Night Shyamalan even had an interest in doing anything remotely pop culture-y. Like, yeah, no.
So does that mean that you don't want to watch it with
No,
me?
I'm saying I will watch it with you so that we can just tear it to shreds. Like
Oh, okay.
to like there's going to be some sort of explosion because we're going to be splitting the atoms of this movie together.
That's true. We could also record that and put it on as some bonus stuff.
I mean, just like a bonus episode, Jay and Caleb tear apart Dragon Ball Evolutions.
Yeah, and then what if we end up making a mini series of us bashing really bad movies or like cult classic movies? Because there are some really bad movies that, especially the ones that are based after video games.
No,
Oh,
I hate every cash grab movie that came out. Every single like I have to give like credit to a lot of YouTubers that have already like covered a lot of these topics, but most fandom movies, a vast majority of fandom movies, are not only like a spit, like an insult in the face of any true fan of the movies, but also made the studios ungodly amounts of money. I'm looking
yeah.
at you, TMNT, because those were terrible.
Which ones after the 80s or early
Not
90s
including the
ones?
80s. The men in rubber suits, those guys are freaking amazing. Those guys are artists. By comparison to the new ones are just ew. They're disgusting. They're the worst. Like
So let's see.
no, like this is like the one case where like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the 80s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, we watched this back in like 2018 or something. I feel like it was all the way back
2019.
then.
I'm pretty sure it's 2019. I'm pretty sure it's 2019.
Okay, 2019. Gosh, that feels like forever ago. It was 3 years ago. It was 3 years ago,
pre-pandemic.
Jason. It was three freaking
pre-pandemic.
years ago.
Has it been 3 years?
Yeah, it's been 3 years. But we watched all three of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies from the 80s. Well, technically late
I'm pretty
80s.
sure it was 90s. I think
Was
the
it late
show
80s, early
was
90s?
I think it's 90s. I'm gonna go check that right now.
Either way,
Yeah.
the original ones where Raphael was allowed to swear. And only Raphael was allowed to swear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Yeah. So the show, I think. Hold on. I think the cartoon was late 80s, like just like super late 80s, like 87, 89, and then the
Mhm.
movie was right after. Let me see though.
But I think that's like
Oh no.
I wonder if that has to
Was
do
that-
with the fact that I actually just really enjoy most things that came out of the 80s.
I mean, I love a lot of the things that came out of the 80s, except not as much as the music. Because
Like the music that came out. But like if music is a direct representation of culture, right?
yeah,
Like they had an explosion of culture flying all over the world. Like for crying out loud, Rock Me Amadeus is 100% in like not English except for Rock Me Amadeus, which is like technically just Rock Me because Amadeus is also not an English word. Like but that topped in America.
yeah. The first original like live action TMNT movie was actually 1990, but I don't remember if the cartoon was before the movie.
I feel like there were a couple before because like there are different versions like like Teenage Mutant Ninja TMNT Ultimate or whatever that was airing on 4Kids in the early
That was 2007.
this 2007.
That was like I think so. That was like early 2000s because I remember watching that when I was in elementary.
yeah, no, like there's a lot
But-
that went on in that universe, but like at least one of the series had basically this one mega episode where the turtles from like all different of their incarnations showed up to fight like all the different versions of Shredder. Like
I don't remember that. That must have been a TMNT series after.
yeah, it had to have been
because-
like one of the later series because it had like 8 different like sets of turtles, because there's like a noir one which was like all black and white, and like at the 80s cartoon one. I know for a fact that there's an 80s cartoon one. Yeah, no, it had like, I can't remember which one it was. All I know is the YouTuber I like that does anime based fitness stuff. He did like a full on breakdown of all the different series of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Jack's Blade, on YouTube if anyone's interested. Okay. But like, yeah, I remember watching that video and just being blown away by the actual depth of the like cartoon for like spastic 5-year-old boys. Well, and girls, mind you. Like ninjas are for everybody, guys. Everyone deserves to have ninjas.
Ninja, rap. Don't forget that song was done by Vanilla Ice as well.
Oh yeah, that is true.
That's very true. 1990s, the Ninja Turtles rap, or Ninja. I think
Speaking of underrated songs from the 90s, do you know the guy who originally sang the Pokemon theme has never like gotten any money for the Pokemon theme?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I heard about that.
Yeah, no, like he thought it was going to be, or I'm pretty sure it's a he. I believe it's a he. I think it's a guy. I feel like it's a guy.
Yeah.
It's because he's like he's like a really high tenor. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. My understanding of the way that worked down is he just didn't believe it was going to take off. So like when
he didn't ask for royalties?
Like no, like he was offered and he's like, why would I want like 5% of zero? Like I think that's like how it went down. Like I need to look into this deeper because like my understanding is he got nothing. Despite the fact that it's like one of the most played anime opening themes of all time.
Yeah, American too.
Yeah.
American themes as well.
Yeah.
Speaking of like theme songs that went from an anime to American, like, to be honest, when it comes to Dragon Ball Z, because I know we bring up DBZ quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. Are you talking?
What do you call it?
Are you talking about Rock the Dragon?
Or just the artist that did it, Bruce Faulkner?
Yeah.
Like compared to, because if I recall correctly, if you ever had the box set of any of the Dragon Ball Z seasons, I think also on Blu-ray, there's three options. There's three options of audio.
Mm-hmm.
There's the original Japanese with the original Japanese music.
Mm-hmm.
There is the English dub with the original Japanese music.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is the English version with the American music.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not even nostalgia's sake. I like the freaking like American version because it's just that hard like breakdowns of rock music.
Oh yeah,
and that's by Bruce Faulkner.
Yeah,
rock.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah,
Dragon.
Rock the Dragon. Dragon Ball Z. Yeah,
and then the freaking guitar break.
Okay, that is like the one thing I liked about Dragon Ball GT is they continued with that theme. It's like a pseudo rap. Dragon Ball GT.
What do you? Yeah, I was gonna say. I think there were two intros to Dragon Ball Z that was done by Bruce Faulkner,
Mm-hmm.
and one was definitely Rock the Dragon was the outro.
Was it really? Okay,
song.
that sounds about right.
It was the outros, but then they changed it. I don't remember when, and then it became an intro because I just remember. I think it was both at one point in time because I'm trying to think of the original intros. Like it starts off with like a shing, and then it's like, and then it shows Goku and all the Z fighters coming in, and then ends up in Kame House,
Mm-hmm.
and that was all instrumental. There was no Rock the Dragon.
Yeah.
Because that one was, I think, what was played before,
Mm-hmm.
and then they eventually introduced Rock the Dragon.
Yeah.
Because of it.
No, because I know for Dragon Ball Z Kai, which is basically the non-comedy version of Dragon Ball Z Abridged, by Team 4-Star.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Dragon Ball Z Kai is literally just taking out all of the goddamn like lengthy plot holes
Okay,
of like
it's
why
not
are we watching
all of them. It's just 90% of them. Like all of the
I mean, it took-
unnecessary filler that like didn't actually add to the series. They removed a lot of it, and that's what made Kai so great. But another thing that made Dragon Ball Z Kai so great was Vic Mignogna's cover of the opening theme, which was absolutely amazing, and I can't remember how it goes now. Dragon Soul. Like
Oh, I don't even remember that. I didn't watch Kai religiously because I got the reason why I didn't watch Dragon Ball Z Kai was the fact that it threw me off seeing the original like 80s to 90s animation and then them putting like updated
yeah, animation
scenes.
like in because they needed to fill plots that they couldn't do without by like just compressing
Cutting.
6 episodes into one. Like
Yeah,
that's
what threw me off from watching it. I mean, it's a great series, but if you can't handle like me, that if you can't handle the
art jump
change from
that's
like,
actually one thing that
yeah.
kind of messed with me with Sailor Moon Crystal is the new art style and the moving between like 3D animation and like the 2D animation, which is done so differently because there's a really great series that done by Jetix France, I believe, originally, Code Lyoko, which is now on Netflix, by the way.
Is it Code Lyoko's on Netflix?
Yeah, no, I saw it.
Hold on.
I like
Hold
fact
on.
check me on this, but like I swear it's there. I saw it, and I'm like, oh my god, it's on
Hold up.
Netflix.
Hold up. I'm literally
Yeah, please.
all I'm missing is Reboot and Gundam Seed.
Yeah, yeah.
And then there's my Friday or Saturday night.
Yeah, like watch
for
list
Netflix.
from Toonami, like
Toonami.
yeah, like I swear it was. But Code Lyoko, that never threw me off because they're in it. Like his face right now, guys, his face right now. You have no idea. But yeah, Code Lyoko, like the opening theme was originally recorded in French. And the entire show was originally recorded in French. And then it
Sounds
was...
about right, because I mean the characters look like they're French, but
Yeah, no, and like if you look at where the academy is, it looks an awful lot like there's Parisian influence, and their school style is like somewhere between French and Japanese. It's really weird. I don't understand it, but I like it. Yeah, no, it's like it's a boarding school for some of them, but people can live off campus for some of them if they live close enough for some of them. Like there's all these different things that it's like really, really awesome, and like go give Code Lyoko a try. But like the opening theme gets me so hyped.
it's a good theme. I will say that.
Like
And it is confirmed it is on Netflix currently. but
yes, yes. For as of right now, as of today's date, which is the 31st of January, it is currently on Netflix.
Also, this is going to be the episode after Valentine's Day, so happy belated Valentine's.
Yes, happy belated Valentine's to all the people. All you people, can't you see? Can't you see?
Can't you see?
Yeah. No, right? Yeah. It's give it a try. It's a little weird, and it is technically a coming of age story for a lot of the characters.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
it's
I'll
like right
admit
around
that.
that teen tween area. I mean, the first episode is literally about a dance. So,
I have to. I mean, I have to rewatch it considering that it's on Netflix. But I will agree till I disagree until I watch the episodes.
mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. But yeah, like there are some themes from our childhood which are so ingrained in society. If you start singing even part of it, somebody in the area will finish it. Like
That's true.
To the point where if you go ba da ba 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 ba, somebody will
I'm not gonna
say
be able to
ba.
Yeah, somebody will finish it.
Yeah, somebody
Oh.
will finish it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
somebody will finish it.
Yeah.
For me, it's been so long because I watched it when it originally aired, and I have not seen it since. So,
Dude, like
that's a whole bunch of nostalgia. Like I said, all I'm missing is Gundam Seed or Gundam. Like I forgot, there was a bunch of Gundam series. Like there was one that was Chibi, but that Code Lyoko, and what was the first show that I mentioned beforehand?
Reborn
Reboot.
reboot. There you go.
the one that's very pixelated. And before that was Beast Wars Transformers. That's the only reason I remember reboot.
Oh,
Speaking
okay.
of Beast Wars, I know it's very side note, but very us when it comes to tangents. I discovered that they are making a sixth or seventh, I guess, Transformer movie now. Um, yeah, another one. But this one actually pertains to the Beast Wars timeline, so it's actually going to be kind of exciting for me because that was the Transformers I grew up with.
Yeah, no, I wasn't as into mech anime as like a really young kid because, giant robots were cool and stuff, but I watched it all the time when it came to Power Rangers and all I could think is like, yeah, no, the Megazord could destroy that.
Even though that's very false.
No, super
For a lot of
false. Are you kidding me? Like, the Megazord is like 8 times the size of your standard Nightmare from Code Geass, but a Nightmare would absolutely rip the livingness out of the existence of a Megazord.
Yeah,
Any
I mean,
Megazord,
even if you,
any generation of Megazord, like just by
yeah,
sheer mobility stats.
yup. I was gonna say because you have five minds that are supposed to work as one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm sure that going up against a Decepticon or any sort of Giga Kaiju or anything like that
Yeah,
definitely would. Like if you were to say that a Zord would go up against Godzilla, I mean Godzilla, like not even,
destroy.
don't
Right?
even start.
Don't even
Like
try to step. Don't even try to step to Godzilla with your freaking Megazord. You will be destroyed. Like,
he wouldn't even have to use his atomic breath.
yeah, no, not even. Like, you just rip to shred. Like, okay, so the strongest materials that we have on Earth right now would not be able to stand up to the atomic breath of Godzilla. Like, we have nothing, absolutely
Nope.
nothing that could withstand that.
Nope.
Like, we can't
Yep.
make anything. There's like, you can't just get like an infinite amount of lead shielding to prevent you from just the radiation alone. Like,
Yep.
like we would be so destroyed. And then like
Yep.
if you like try to like the problem with like trying to put that into perspective of things is as soon as you jump a universe, you're talking about completely different scales, and that's why Krillin would be One Punch Man in One Punch Man's universe. Like,
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
I love the look of thought on your face right there was so good.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that.
Krillin has taken a full force punch from Goku before and lived.
Yeah.
Like, put that in
Hold
perspective.
on.
If Krillin showed up in almost any other universe, he would be god tier.
Well, yeah, because I'm trying to think, because, like, is Krillin technically the strongest human?
That's a good question because he's actually
Because I'm, like, trying to.
so Tien
Because
and
he's pure human.
Chaozu. Yeah, Tien is technically not pure human. He's like part demon or something like that because he has the third eye. And Krillin's actually
Chaozu's not.
Chaozu's not
Chaozu.
human.
Chaozu's not human.
Yeah,
And there's Yamcha, but Krillin is definitely
stronger than Yamcha. Yeah, because for a
And then I'm
while,
trying to think, is there. Uh huh.
Krillin and Goku were on almost on the same base.
Levels.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
Krillin
but
is if it's not Master Roshi, then Krillin is the strongest human, pure human on Earth.
Is he stronger than Videl? Because the only difference between
Well, okay, so
because Videl took a while to learn how to fly. That was the only
yeah.
thing. But,
So Videl didn't have her abilities fully awakened by Guru, right? The reason why Krillin is so powerful is because he has 100% of his potential unlimited thanks to the power of Guru.
yeah.
Or I think that's his name. I think he goes by Guru. But
Was that the big boss Namek?
yeah, the Elder
Yeah,
Namekian. Yeah.
that should be Guru.
Yeah. So because Guru unlimited his potential, like unlocked his full potential, essentially, he became the strongest that any human could become, and he only trained further. So by all rights, if you were to go into like a slugfest against any other human-based character that doesn't have anything outside of human, they shouldn't be able to step. Like, not even close. And that's why in any other universe, he's One Punch Man.
Yeah, I can see that. That makes sense. Because I'm trying to think, because, like, out of all the characters that are just purely human, like, you keep coming down to the half Saiyans. You got Trunks, you got Gohan.
No,
you
like,
got
the next strongest
Goten.
being on Earth is Satan, quote-unquote Satan, but he goes by something else in the English.
Hercule.
There you go. Yeah.
Hercule Satan, because it's Mr. Satan.
Yeah, Mr. Satan, Hercule Satan. Yeah, him. He's the other quote-unquote strongest man on Earth. And if he were...
Quote, unquote.
Quote-unquote, because... Yeah. Because his daughter is the one that Gohan ends up dating. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, his daughter would raffle stomp him. But then Krillin would destroy her.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think, because then... well, no, actually, there is probably one person who is stronger than Krillin. And that would have to be 18, because she became human. They wished her to become human.
Oh, okay.
Remember, they settled that down. It's like, because technically she was a human-made... Well, she was a human-made cyborg, I think. But
okay, so
but she had internal cyborg parts, and then they changed the lore with her where they said, oh yeah, it's like, how can you have a kid? It's like, oh, well, we use the Dragon Balls to make 18 humans. So technically, she is
the most powerful. Actually,
the most powerful.
But she never shows her power after becoming human. And
no,
actually, that kind of shows her humanity even more. Like, in my own headcanon, and I might be just assembling this now, but my understanding is by wishing her to become human of her own volition, she chose to be human with Krillin over being as powerful as 18 is. Because after she
17.
becomes human...
Yeah, she's 17 and that's 18. No, she's 18.
Yeah.
She's 18. Okay, I was right.
Yeah, of her own volition, choosing to become human, she actually limits her power to human ranges.
Yeah, but we don't really see her true power
afterwards.
After
she becomes human, after she gives birth to Krillin's daughter. I can't remember.
I think it's Marin.
Is it Marin?
Marin. It might be Marin, because I think she was named after one of Krillin's exes.
That would be really weird.
I know, but
I mean, it's Dragon Ball.
It's headcanon. I'm just trying to recall everything.
Yeah, no, there's just so much information, my guy. So much information.
And then I don't know if they changed that with Dragon Ball Super, because I kind of stopped on Dragon Ball Super with the Tournament of Power, because that's new canon.
Yeah, I think we talked about this recently. I couldn't... Creating an entire series around a tournament arc, it's been done before. It's a terrible idea. In practice, it Dragon Ball Z itself is one extremely long, almost devoid of any meaning tournament arc.
Yeah, I mean every literally within every 5 seasons.
outside
there's
of the Saiyan Prophecy, which is probably one of the best. There's a really great YouTuber couple, or I think they just work together, but they might be a couple. Called Overly Sarcastic Productions.
Okay.
They just did this video a little while ago about the Saiyan Prophecy and how it was probably one of the best done prophecies in anime, because it all starts with Raditz and Vegeta, right? Raditz, Vegeta, Nappa, being the last 4 Saiyans in the entire galaxy before they find out about Gohan. And Gohan's only half
and even
Saiyan.
then Gohan's only half Saiyan.
Yeah, he's only half Saiyan. So it's really kind of insane. The amount of buildup, the amount of anticipation, over the course of isn't it 40 something episodes from until Goku goes Super Saiyan.
Is it only 40?
I feel
I think it's longer,
because it's 2 seasons, right? A little over 2 seasons, if I remember correctly.
Because you have you have, let's see, it goes Saiyan Saga, then it goes Namek, and then it goes Super, like Saiyan
The Legendary Super Saiyan.
Legendary Super Saiyan Saga. I mean, I have the collection. I just have to run over and look and see
Yeah,
what it says.
basically. But
um,
anyway, like it's one of the better done prophecies. That being said, Dragon Ball in a nutshell is Goku surpassing his limits through sheer force of effort. Now, having tournament arcs as part of an anime is fine. Like we saw that in Yu Yu Hakusho, which everyone lovingly refers to as Dragon Ball with plot.
what was that? Oh, you're talking about Yu Yu Hakusho, or are you just waiting on me?
Yu Yu Hakusho, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
everyone lovingly refers to Yu Yu Hakusho as Dragon Ball Z with plot, because
I mean,
all the
pretty much
voice
it is.
actors at Funimation, or actually is Viz Media back then, right?
It was Viz Media.
Yeah.
Well, cause like it was Viz Media, and then they partnered up with Funimation
Yeah.
after a while.
So back in the day, Viz Media, they went from recording Dragon Ball right over to Yu Yu Hakusho and continued recording.
Yeah, most of the same voice actors. The only one that didn't stay was actually the voice actor of Goku.
Mm-hmm. But you can't have your key voice actor like be in another series, especially as the main character. Like on top of the fact that it wouldn't make sense for Goku, who's like 22 at that point in time, to be a 14-year-old kid.
Yeah, and to be honest, like that's the reason. It's also I realized the reason why I love Kuwabara so much. It's because my favorite character in DBZ is Vegeta.
Yeah.
and then Kuwabara, same voice actor,
Mhm.
Christopher Sabat. I think that's his last name, Sabat.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, something just hits different. It was like, hey, Yusuke.
Yeah.
It's just like
Yeah.
it's just like an overblown like guy from Jersey. Like if you think of Yu-Gi-Oh with like Joey being like that overly horrible accented
Yeah,
like New Yorker
no.
or Bostonian.
Yeah.
Like Kuwabara's the same way, but as Vegeta.
Yeah.
Like you hear Vegeta, but you hear Vegeta doing like a weird ass like
Yeah. No.
like,
it's
if he
so
was to
good,
do a New
though.
York
It's
accent.
so good. like I actually finished Yu Yu Hakusho all the way through. Like I think I've watched it twice all the way through, and
I'm currently going through it again.
and it's amazing. The feels in that, like it's not a short anime by any stretch of the imagination, but the impact of certain episodes is just leaps and bounds above what other anime were doing at the time, which is kind of, I guess, what lends itself. Plus, that opening theme is such a freaking bop.
I'm trying to remember.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. It's got that like almost jazz bluesy beat, and like
Yep.
yeah,
Kind of like derives from like Cowboy Bebop.
yeah, very similar to Tank, or big band is what you think, right? When you think of
Yeah,
Tank, you
yeah.
think big band with like a soulful flair. And very
Right.
similar, very similar. There's like a brass section and stuff that's part of the opening theme. I think it's like "Thank You for Waking Me Up." I can't remember the actual name of.
I can't recall the titles.
Yeah, all I know is it's a beautiful, beautiful song that happens to be part of Dragon Ball Z with plot.
Yeah. I mean, thinking of all those early anime that introduced I don't like within the past 15 years, like being a nerd, being a weeb, like being a comic book fan, just is now thankfully mainstream. But like all of these people who like have not caught up to what the
There's physically
originalities
no
were.
way. There's like if you it's like binge watch calculator or whatnot, right? If you try to like
Yeah.
shove everything that we've already watched on top of the fact that there's like a stage in like anime consumption that's like right around like the center middle where you can physically consume more anime than there is time in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's I think it's Giguk is the YouTuber that talks about it, the stages of anime fan. It's like the
Yeah.
anime noob, then there's like the somehow, because I remember there's this point in my life where I consumed somewhere in the neighborhood of like 16 shows or 16 anime, like all the way through in the matter of like maybe a month. And
Yeah.
they weren't short anime either.
No.
Like,
No. Let's see. For those that are like intro to anime, like within the last 15, like I can name off a handful of shows that you missed out on when they were live, and we talked about a few of them, right?
Yeah.
We talked about Dragon Ball Z. Like, depending on which way you went, like it was Dragon Ball Z or Sailor Moon or both. I did both.
yeah, same. Same. Because,
Right. I did both,
like,
and then go ahead.
yeah, there's that. Then there were the not so common. There was like the younger kids animes like Do Re Mi and Yu-Gi-Oh, which is definitely a younger kids anime, despite the fact that
And Pokemon.
and Pokemon and the different series of early Pokemon and the different versions of Brock, because there's more than one version of Brock. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I was like, what Brock are you? What Brock did you start? Oh, I was the horny. I started with the horny Brock.
I started
with the horny
started
Brock.
with the horny Brock that had terrible puns and didn't know what jelly donuts and frying pans were. Like,
Right, and because it was a kids anime, there were no nosebleeds. It was just heart eyes.
yeah, hard eyes, because yeah, like, so good.
No nosebleeds.
So good.
What else? What else was there? And then once you got a little serious, then that's where you had like Yu Yu Hakusho, Full Metal Alchemist. You had
The original,
Cowboy
not
Bebop.
Brotherhood, which is amazing. Don't get me wrong. The original one was dark for its time.
I loved both series. I love both
yeah,
series,
no,
and I will always recommend both.
Yeah.
I always tell people when they watch Full Metal to start with the non-Brotherhood, the one that's not closely related to the manga.
Yeah.
Just for the fact that it's like, if you want to be introduced to an anime hard, we're gonna throw it hard
yeah,
at you, and
yeah.
that's
No.
Brotherhood, and that's the regular.
That's
series.
the regular series. The regular series is hard mode. Like,
Yeah.
because it's almost grounded in our reality. It's like it skews our world, because the Conqueror of Shambhala literally comes to our world.
Yeah.
Like the movie.
And these are all anime that you could actually watch English dubbed. Before you transition to
with subtitles.
Japanese subtitles.
Yeah,
with
Japanese with subtitles.
There's
But-
also Death Note.
Yeah, Rurouni
There's also
Kenshin.
Death Note. Rurouni Kenshin's a good one.
Yeah, Code Geass. If we're talking about like really developing the character as the villain is the main, like, is actually the good guy. There's manga that never had enough following to be turned into an anime. I can recommend Akametsu, which is from
Yep.
like, Akametsu is amazing. Like, it's brilliant, and it's really hard to talk about without spoiling the whole plot of, just because of like just the sheer amount of genius that went into Akametsu. There's there's so many just manga that never made it to becoming
didn't
anime.
make it.
But
But
kind of shapes
as far
the
as anime
culture.
goes, yeah. And then you get the introduction to more shonen anime. So that's where you
have
this is-
Bleach,
these are the
Naruto,
anime-
One
yeah.
Piece. Yeah.
and like these and Shaman King, if you want to go that, or
Oh, yeah.
Sakura Card Captor.
Yeah.
For like depending on what it was.
Busarenkin.
But these are the
Yeah.
these are the anime, like the ones that we just named for shonen are the ones that you slowly transition to like watching in sub, because like Dragon Ball Z, I cannot handle it in Japanese. I don't like Goku's voice actress technically. But
I mean, you have to give props to her, though. She's been playing Goku since the beginning, so.
oh
like,
yeah, she still does. Like she kills it. She kills it even with the screaming.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure at this point, like they reuse a lot of her screaming now.
I would hope so. Like, I would feel really bad for her if she had to do, like, what she was doing back in, late 1980,
'cause-
early
no,
2000.
Yeah, it was
early
late
1990s.
'80s because like
Yeah.
because what do you call it? The original Dragon Ball actually came from the early '80s, and then it took 10 years to become dubbed in English.
Yeah.
No,
it's,
same thing with Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. I can't believe like, it's crazy to think the development of the internet is literally what drove our ability to even get the Japanese episodes of anything. Like,
Yeah.
outside of that, all we had was Viz Media, because Funimation wasn't around. We had
No.
Toei Animation, which sometimes released certain things, and we had Ghibli
Outside
films.
of Dragon Ball.
Outside of Dragon
Yeah.
Ball.
And and Ghibli. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of those films too,
Like, we didn't
the
get
Ghibli
any of the
films,
Ghibli
like-
films until recently, despite the fact that most of them
Yeah.
are actually really old.
like Totoro was early 80s, and I don't think we got it until like mid to late 90s.
Mm-hmm.
But like those movies, like to be honest, you could watch them in both English and Japanese.
Oh yeah,
and it's still fantastic.
They're spectacular. And actually, Howl's Moving Castle, as well
Such a
as
good one.
Castle in the Sky, both of them,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion, are actually a little bit better in the Japanese because there's a certain level of gravitas that none of the English voice actors are able to portray. But that's even without me being able to actually understand Japanese, despite my want to learn. But like they're like, actually that leads me into another thing. One of the new movies. By the time you're hearing this, it will be out of the theaters, but hopefully it's on a streaming service somewhere. But
It will be. It most certainly
like
will be.
I hope I'm like praying that Belle, Belle, is going to be out and available for people to watch, because I watched it same day, English first, then Japanese. You watch it for the English because the female vocalist they get to do the singing, spectacular. Her resonance, her gravitas, the depth of her voice, the depth of the emotion, everything absolutely perfect. You watch it in Japanese for all the male voice actors because they hit different. Like
Yeah.
like you watch it, you can enjoy it in either, but like honestly, you'll enjoy the vocal stylings of the English one a little bit better, because on top of being able to understand what they're saying, it hits. Like I mean it, dude.
Yeah.
You need to see Belle before it's out of theaters.
I will try. I will have to try and find a compatriot to watch it with, because my best friend here, Annie, he already watched it. He watched it before he left
Like,
to go on
are you
set, so.
saying he's like he wouldn't go back and watch it again? Like
I don't know.
like-
I don't know.